Welcome everyone to this regional agritourism event for Ayrshire, Arran and Lanarkshire. It's lovely to have you with us this afternoon. My name's Caroline Miller, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm based up in our farm here in Angus, so it's nice to come together with all of you where you are. And I'm one of many people here that are sort of trying to work together as a great network to grow the agritourism sector in Scotland. And we've got 15 destination leaders who are volunteers throughout Scotland as well, and I'll introduce you to your local area representatives in a second. But we are a really motivated and engaged network, and we're really driving things forward, and we feel there's a huge potential for this sector. So part of the reason for today is because that we want agritourism to grow in every part of Scotland, and also we're really interested in finding out what you think are the particular flavours and attributes of agritourism in Ayrshire, Arran and Lanarkshire. So, when consumers come and they visit and they do a tour of Scotland, if they were staying and visiting different farms around Scotland, what can your area offer? Not just the type of food and drink or the type of landscape, but the culture, the history, the heritage, that farming heritage. So what have you got that other areas of Scotland haven't got? And so if you've got any ideas on that today, you can pop them in the chat box, but we will obviously be in touch with you after this, and hopefully we can use today as a starter to build on that. One of the ways that we will be using that kind of information is the new Go Rural website will have a destinations page on it, and we'll be promoting different areas of Scotland on there and trying to establish and make it clear to the consumer why they're different. So the first thing I'm going to do is hand over to Alistair Dobson, who I guess all of you know, but Alistair probably needs an introduction, but from Taste of Arran and about 20 other hats on, but based on the island of Arran and really driving hard to grow agritourism and is behind what we're doing here. So over to you, Alistair.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. And no, there's one person that's driving agritourism, and that's yourself. And I'm sure everybody's happy to get in behind that fantastic opportunity I see for Scotland, but not just for Scotland, for the southwest of Scotland. And I think many people on here will know me, and always passionate about how food, agriculture, land management can be the driver for change, and we are the solution, not the problem, as far as where things are going around the green recovery and the opportunity for people to reconnect with what's important to them. And I think that's ever more relevant over the last year, and the work that Caroline has done and others on this call and many throughout Scotland, with the help of Visit Scotland and others, to really keep that emotional connection to land and our fantastic rural assets in Scotland has been phenomenal. So long may your lum reek with that. And so Caroline introduced me well there, thank you. I've got many hats, it seems at times, but basically I'm just a farmer that makes things, and there's a few vans that delivers them. But I never sell a food product, I sell the place. So I think agritourism is absolutely well positioned to move forward. So I'm really looking forward to hearing all the speakers today. And the great thing is, in Scotland we've got great stories to tell, and we've got great storytellers. Ayrshire, none more so. We've got Rabbie Burns, we've got Franklin Clark, Howard Wilkinson, people like that. I'm putting you all in the same place there. Are we going to get out there and tell stories? And in my own part of the world in Arran, we've got Sheila, Cameron and others who, if we can really get this, we can tell that authentic story that everybody's wanting to do, and they want to really connect. So for Ayrshire and Arran, Lanarkshire, the southwest of Scotland as a whole, is there a chance to really monetize this outdoors? And I hate to use that term, monetize, but that's what we're all in it for. And it's about using the highways and byways that connected all these small local communities with these larger market towns. So all of that's been forgotten, but folk are walking these highways and byways, wanted to come and stay, wanted to come and eat. And I remember my best ever meal. It wasn't a Michelin star, it was in a farm restaurant in Croatia, where they took us round. It was in a rustic building, and it was just the way they told the story. Was the food the best I've ever tasted? It certainly wasn't Michelin star, but it tasted brilliant, and it was more around the experiential stuff that we can all do through agritourism and agri-food. So just desperately keen to hear how and listen to all the great people that are speaking later. But if there's never been more opportunity, the resource in Ayrshire is huge now, and Lanarkshire and southwest Scotland as a whole. We've got we've got destination managers, rural food and drink coordinators, and a real will from the public sector to let industry take the lead and drive the new agenda for responsible and sustainable tourism in this part of the world. So hopefully we can all get in behind that and share our experiences and share our issues, and let's give visitors to this part of the world a great experience over the next year and set that as the cornerstone for many years to come. So thanks for the opportunity, Caroline, and I look forward to the chat with everyone.
Okay, thanks very much, Alistair. And I know there's a lot of people from economic development and industry on this call today, so welcome to all of you, and great to have you here, and hopefully you can I have spoken at a few regional events. I did one on Arran, and I was sitting in on one on Ayrshire, so good to have you with us as well, and anything we can do to support you in understanding more about the opportunity, be glad to help you after today as well. As well as the three speakers, we've got, as I mentioned, Lorna Reid, who's the main Visit Scotland contact for agritourism, and that has made a huge difference to our sector, having Lorna working with us. But more about Lorna and what she's doing later on. I'm now just going to share my screen and just give an overview. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, so at the moment, obviously we're all unfortunately closed with COVID, unless you're a farm shop. Farm shops are open, and really excited to see that more people are buying food direct from a farmer, and let's hope that trend continues. It's not just a short-term change to buying habits. We certainly saw it during the first lockdown, and I think the trend has continued, and we would like to support those businesses through the agritourism initiatives to make sure that we continue to promote, and that's a long-term trend. But fair to say that the rest of the sector, accommodation, events, most days out, I know that there's takeaway cafe offerings like Joe and Stewart's is still open just now from a takeaway point of view, but most of us are closed. But we know that last year when we were able to open, we were very, very busy, and that's been great for us, and we can't wait to open again. We're all dying to open our doors and welcome guests back. But one of the key things for our sector is now, after a sector which has been in existence, it's not a new sector, it's been around for at least over 50 years, if not longer. I'm sure yesterday we were at the McConkeys down at Lagan in Dumfries and Galloway, and I think Granny, that sadly just passed away before Christmas, I think she and her family opened a caravan park just before the World War II down there. So it's not a new thing, agritourism, but certainly it's grown over the last 5 to 10 years. And now we're at a critical point where we are seeing increased consumer interest in our sector, and the things that we offer are the things that consumers are looking for, the domestic market that are looking for green space, fresh food, freedom, space to get out and about, an authentic experience, and a real engagement with nature to help with their mental and physical recovery from the impact of of COVID, and just to get out their houses and to go and do things again. So we feel we're in a real prime position, and this was a Herald article from last month, but who'd have thought farms and the word revolution are written about in the same sentence. So real positive for our sector. And Visit Scotland have identified agritourism as a key trend for 2021-2022. So what we want to do is we don't just want to be a flash in the pan. We don't just want a quick shift to agritourism growth over the next 18 months and then we sort of see that die away. Of course, people that live in Scotland and the UK will obviously start going on holiday abroad after the next 18 months to 2 years, but we would like to convert them meanwhile to change their habits, to at least take several short breaks in Scotland and start buying from farm shops and having more days out. And then that combined with a return in international market could really see us take off. And BBC also covered this in just before Christmas. This is Fiona Smith, one of our members up at Westerton Farmers in Aberdeenshire. And the media are really sort of starting to see that agritourism is a key trend, and nobody actually ever said the word till about 2 or 3 years ago as well. So in terms of agriculture, so you can't be in agritourism unless you're a farmer. So you need the farming bit to be the agritourism. If you don't have that, you're a rural tourism business or a food business that's not related to a farm. So farmers are at our heart, and all of us are farmers or crofters or estate owners with an in-house farm. That is what we are. So agritourism gives a great opportunity to make your farm more sustainable. Family farms are under threat from all sorts of things, including Brexit and uncertainty and the recession that we unfortunately will be going into. And if you can have a fat lamb that you normally sell for £100, but basically the time you've used that lamb for farm tours, rounding up sheep with sheepdog demonstrations, and basically having the sheep as a backdrop to your tourism business, then the value of that lamb increases significantly. So it's all about adding value to farming assets. And also, there's the key thing about agritourism is a shop front for agriculture. So it's a shop front for Scotch lamb, Scotch beef, Scotch pork, vegetables, soft fruit and cereals, everything that dairy products, everything we produce on Scottish farms. So last year, our sector, as I say, it's not a new sector, but there's a really strong network of proactive businesses, and we really came together and galvanised support for each other during COVID. The first Monday after lockdown, we were on our first COVID response support meeting, and we continued to meet every week or fortnight and continued to do so. But that first 10 to 12 weeks where people just didn't know what was happening, we all got together every Monday, and it was a great support. And so what we did was we formalised as a sector body last June. And so Scottish Agritourism is the business-to-business sector body. We sit underneath the umbrella of the Scottish Tourism Alliance, but we work very closely with other industry bodies such as NFU Scotland, Scottish Land and Estates, Scotland Food and Drink, and other bodies. So, and the Go Rural brand was developed during the Scottish Enterprise Rural Leadership Programme back in 2012, by myself and 3 others in my team, and that has become a really strong brand for consumers, and that is our consumer-facing brand for the sector. There's no actual definition of agritourism at an international level, so we decided on what the Scottish definition would be. Last year, our sector agreed this. I work with various people across many countries in agritourism, and they're all kind of grappling with what a definition is. So our definition is tourism or leisure on a working farm, croft or estate which produces food. That food element is critical, as I said. Without that, if you're not a real farmer, you're not in agritourism. So we'll use the Go Rural brand to associate with real agritourism, so the consumer knows exactly what they're getting. I'll not go through all of these, but some of our priorities, one of the key ones is the measurement of the sector. So Visit Scotland, we've been working closely with them, as I mentioned, but not just on the marketing and strategic side. We've been working on with their in-house economists, and we will have a sector measurement survey going out in May, and this will allow us for the first time to track the growth in the sector. It will be an annual survey. There might be different top-ups throughout the year, but it will be an annual survey. And it'll be great information for regions to have. You'll be able to know how many agritourism businesses are on Arran in Ayrshire and Lanarkshire, and you'll be able to sort of track the growth in visitor numbers to the area. But also, we're going to capture the number of farmers who have an interest of going into agritourism and kind of track, how many numbers are coming through. So that will be an absolute critical thing to our sector, and we will use that information to have a more firm sort of growth strategy for the sector. If we find out the sector is worth 100 million, but the market opportunity is 200 million, then we need the investment then to be able to rally behind that and to know what we're aiming for. The other thing I would just highlight here in terms of is, really strong collaboration with regional food groups and others and destination marketing organisations to grow agritourism. So, we're this overarching kind of sector body, but we really want to work closely with you on the ground to add value to your campaigns, to share content. And we could really be smart here with resources that we've got, and we would like to roll out the Go Rural brand as something that could be used to attract a new sort of sector of visitors to your area. We've got 15 destination leaders throughout Scotland, as I mentioned, and one of them on here just now, who I'll introduce you to shortly, is Selina Cairns from Errington Cheese, who's the Lanarkshire leader. And we've got Ailsa Currie from Bellevue and Arran, who's the Ayrshire and Arran leader. And these people that are working with us, they're fantastic. They're really, we come together, really driving and shaping the strategy of what we're doing, getting involved, and they're great at a local level to speak to about agritourism. We're really excited about a new step forward with a new Go Rural Scotland website. So this has grown into quite a big e-commerce project in a very short space of time. So we're now in 6 phases of this website. The first phase is being supported through the Scottish Enterprise Agritourism Monitor Farm programme, which will be the sort of campaign type page, which will go live in early April, and that'll be ready to promote our Lamathon campaign. Phase 2 is being supported by Visit Scotland. Their sector funding that they just had was announced a few weeks ago, but we've got some funding from them for development of the members only area of the website, for networking and sharing of information, business support. And then phase 3 to 6 will be our digital map and regional destination information, our directory of members, and we'll move out to a full e-commerce website, which people can basically book 2 nights at Bellevue and Arran. They can add on a farm tour, and they can add on a hamper of produce from Arran, all part as one transaction through this website. So, and there'll be customer loyalty schemes and things which will encourage people to go and visit other businesses. So the level of kind of sophistication that the website company are talking about is, if somebody is part of our loyalty program and maybe they're from the borders and they've gone to Arran on holiday through the website, and then they go home to the borders, they can get an email saying welcome home, just to let you know, your local, there's 3 other agritourism businesses within an hour of you if you'd like a day out. And here's a local place that you can buy some farm produce. So a lot of work to do on this. Thankfully, we've got some good support from from Leslie Wood, who's driving the sort of, procurement and the delivery side for us. And we've got a company in Glasgow called Radiator who are building the site. Some of the areas that people will be able to search by location, region. There'll also be content on these pages as well, so there'll be actual destination pages on the website, which we would like to work with you to create those, and you'll be able to search for farms producing Scotch beef or milk or cheese or whatever. We'll have a bit on responsible access to countryside, and keep Scotland beautiful and those kind of messages. But we can also list farmers markets, agricultural shows, on-farm events and things, and sort of regional farming highlights. That was some of the examples that came out of the Aberdeenshire meeting, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, what is your particular strengths or points of differentiation with agritourism. So that's what we're trying to work with you. As the members only area I mentioned, but there'll be a picture of each member, a head and shoulders photograph with their contact details, so they'll be able to network with each other, and they'll be able to join online. There'll be a media place for the press, and another sort of networking room for wider industry suppliers. The Visit Scotland support that we have is absolutely tremendous. I think there was a large number of years where I met with Visit Scotland on a regular basis. I think Alistair was involved in some of those meetings, and I think gradually Visit Scotland have kind of understood the opportunity for agritourism in Scotland and understood the scale of agritourism in other countries where it's a multi-billion-pound consumer sector. So as a result of Lamathon and the COVID work, Lorna Reid, who I'll introduce, who's going to speak later, came on to be our main contact. And Lorna really is fantastic at opening a lot of doors and getting us different people to support us. So it's made a huge difference to our sector. Campaigns that we're working on with Visit Scotland for this year. Sorry, I should have changed that slide. That's the third day I've had 2020 in it, so apologies. But yeah, Lamathon kicks off on the 24th of March. 6 weeks of live tours around different people's farms, focusing on lamb, and half an hour every day on Facebook at 1 o'clock, and then campaigns around wellness and fitness, hiking and cycling on farms. We're working with QMS on a big outdoors and barbecue campaign, which we'll announce formally soon. And then, around pumpkin picking, potato picking, harvest festivals, and a big push on events in November to really extend the season and try and get some money back for the money that we've lost in lockdown. I touched on Lamathon already, but if anybody would like to get involved in Lamathon, I think we've got 12 slots still available. It's a real adrenaline rush when you go live and press live on Facebook. You'll never know anything like it, but it's great. The camaraderie with the others that are taking part. There's training for you and live tours, and when you've got 200 families watching you, and 25 of them are in America, and there's people in Dubai and France and all over the country. It's absolutely brilliant showcase for your area and for your farm and for Scotland. So just to finish off, this was the 3 months results from just 12 weeks of live tours that we did last year. We had 10,000 families watch within the 3 month period, and 750,000 video minutes watched. So as I say, it's a great showcase for showcasing Scottish agriculture as well as the landscape and our own businesses. So the feedback we had from 550 people that took part in a survey, one of the main things they really liked was they thought that there were people they could trust to buy their food from, and they liked the high welfare that we had for our animals. So, you know, these are really important things that we're delivering for Scottish farming in a friendly and informal way. The Agritourism Monitor Farm programme that many of you are involved in, it went online from COVID time, March time last year. So we've got Jo here. Jo's got one of our speakers today, but Jo and her husband Stuart are the monitor farmers at East Lothian and at Drift. Next to Jo, we've got Bobby Lennox and Anne on Jo's left, and then Kay on her left. So they are the Lennox family from Loss on Loch Lomond side. So there's 2 agritourism monitor farms just now. We've engaged with 200 people over this project. We have around between 30 and 50 people coming to the actual physical meetings and online, and it's about skills development, knowledge exchange, sharing your knowledge about your business and getting knowledge from other people about things that you can then go and improve in your own business. So it's, you know, really enjoyable, huge amounts of progress being made. We're at the end of 2nd year out of a 3-year programme, and despite COVID there has been lots of progress made, people taking on new staff, investing in facilities, moving on to digital, online booking, lots of areas of progress in a very difficult year. So we're really hopeful that there will be more agritourism monitor farms. You know, there's no reason why there couldn't be one in Ayrshire or Arran or Lanarkshire, and we don't want any gaps between this one finishing and the next one starting, because there was 4 years between the ones previous to this. So it's a great programme, and people can join from anywhere in Scotland, but it is a real focus on a particular area. And that's all from me. So thanks for listening to me, and I hope that gave you an overview to kind of what we're doing. I'll just quickly check the chat box. Nice to have everybody just putting in who they are as well, so thanks very much for that. So now I'm just going to hand over to our first speaker. So many of you will know Ailsa, but Ailsa Currie is from Bellevue Farm on Arran, and Ailsa, I'll just check that I've made you a co-host here. There we are. Okay, so are you okay to share your slides, Ailsa?
Yep, I think we're good. Can you see that okay?
Yep, that's brilliant.
Yep.
Over to you, Ailsa.
Okay. Hi there. So I'm Ailsa Currie, and I am the destination leader for Ayrshire and Arran. So we farm at Bellevue Farm, which is on the west side of the Isle of Arran. So what I was going to do is just tell you a wee bit about us, about what we're doing and where we're trying to go. So let's just get to where we are. So about us, so there's actually 3 boys there. We've got 2 boys and we've got one that's just added in. So there's Donald Senior, there's Donald Junior, there's Andrew, and there's myself. So Donald is the 7th generation of Donald Currie that has farmed in that area. So I am a blow-in. I come from the borders. So I come from a dairy and turkey farm in the borders. So the farm at Bellevue is 250 acres. We've got about 50 suckler cows, 250 breeding ewes. We grow barley, malting barley, which is sold to the local distillery and made into Arran whisky. And Donald Senior is very tractor orientated. So he has an agricultural contracting enterprise, so he does tractor and machinery work over the rest of the island. And we also have two holiday cottages. So why we diversified? So basically, really we were doing a lot of these things anyway. So any visitors that come to the holiday cottages, any new visitors, I would take them for a tour of the farm anyway, explain everything to them. Regular visitors just sort of take it as accepted that they will kind of join our little team. So we have always done that. We have always produced our own meat, so we've always got meat, pork, lamb butchered, vacuum packed for ourselves, and for neighbours and anybody that helps out, we would always give them a bit of meat or whatever. So that's something we have always done. This picture here I thought was quite good to show, because this is my boys along with two kids that have come to the cottage. So they have come sort of faithfully every year for the last, I would say, probably about 12 years. So they just kind of fit in with us, and this is one of their jobs for the day. If you look in the trailers, there's lots of things, and that's what they're taking out from the house for our barbecue at night. So we always have barbecues with our holiday visitors, so they're either looking out at the sunset or in the shed when the weather's not good. So it's a great team effort, great fun, singing, musical instruments, but as I say, that is just the way we've always done things. So we diversified, really. We were trying to find the direction. We've obviously got two young boys. If they want to come home to farm, was there enough there for them? You want to kind of teach them to kind of look outside the box, achieve, and obviously we were coming up to Brexit. So there was so much uncertainty. Was there going to be subsidies? Was there not? You don't know what price you're going to get for anything. And really there's a sort of lack of control. So kind of all these things we're kind of looking about, trying to find a direction. I did the Rural Leadership course in 2017, and that was a very, very positive experience. And I came out of that buzzing, really ready to take on something. I was looking for a challenge, and I wanted really to achieve something. And we did the Leaf Open Farm Sunday that year. So the Leaf is basically, it's an open farm day, is one of the things that they offer. So we opened the farm up to visitors, to let them basically come onto this farm and see what there was to see. So I wanted that to be a community thing, and I wanted it to be a really positive, happy thing. So lots of the neighbours helped, and what we basically did was we set up different stations around the farm. The lady from down the road, she did a wildlife, a sort of treasure hunt. Gordon from the cheese shop, he provided a couple of Highland cows. A lady from the south end, we got some pigs. So the visitors basically came and walked around the different stations and heard about the animals, and they also heard the story about where the animals came from. So they heard that they were Gordon's cows, that Gordon had the cheese shop, and just as well as hearing the story about the animal, they also heard the story about how everything fits in on the island and our life. So there was hundreds came to it. It was great fun, and I think everybody really enjoyed it. And that was the start of the farm tours. So I kept getting inquiries, people saying, would I do more? So I thought, I'm going to give this a go. And that was really how the farm tour started. So I set up my risk assessments, got all my risk assessments set out. We spoke to the NFU. So we went through health and safety with the NFU and insurance with them as well. We had a major purchase. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on things because obviously we didn't know how things were going to go. So I went wild and crazy and bought a Portaloo on eBay. And that was quite an adventure getting it home. It was shipped up from London, and then we had to get it over on the boat. So that was a bit of a hoot. And basically, at the start, everybody had to come in, wash their hands in the back kitchen. So we were very, very careful to follow all the procedures. It was all done by the book. We made flyers up. We put them around the hotels, anywhere we thought that, you know, people would see them. And we obviously we had a Facebook page at that, so we just advertised it on the Facebook page, and that was really, really where it started. So this is where we are now. That's our holiday cottages. So there's 2 holiday cottages side by side. They both accommodate 5. We're not registered with Visit Scotland just now, but since really getting involved with agritourism, we're actually kind of, our cottages were always booked, always full, and we just kind of let it run, but we're trying to up our game a bit. I've kind of identified with the help of the Monitor Farm, really need to kind of pull it up a notch. So we're working on them just now and just trying to get them spruced up a bit. The rest of the pictures here are just pictures of what we do in the farm tours. So I try and make, you know, we get all shapes and sizes come on the farm tours. They've just grown over the years. But as well as seeing the animals, I'm trying to tell the story about farming, the different seasons. I'm talking about how the food is produced from the start right through to the finish, and also life on Arran. So people are interested on, you know, what it's like to live on an island and just how the food on Arran all fits together. So they're hearing all the little stories, and because our life, I think, is so different, you know, from a lot of people are interested in that. You know, the idea that you've been out at 5 o'clock in the morning chasing cows in your jammies and your wellies, you know, people from a different background aren't used to that. So, you know, it all does interest them. So to move forward from there, we have sort of identified, you know, we're obviously on a lovely location, we have lovely views, but with that comes the sort of exposed weather. And really, if there was bad weather, we were struggling to do the farm tours. For the open farm Sunday, we had lots of posters, lots of displays, you know, explaining things like how silage is made, all these kinds of things. But the day after, it all had to go away. We had to put it away. So that really was how the idea of sort of developing a shed for the farm tour started. We could also see from the tours that there are the people that want to know the in-depth detail about farming life. There's also the people that come maybe with their 2-year-old child who want to spend a bit of time on the farm. They want to see the rabbits, sit on a picnic table, have a wee walk around the field, but they don't really want frog marched round the farm. So there is a kind of, you know, there's 2 kind of streams there. So with the farm tour, we have developed this shed. So it was basically first lockdown, it was a pile in the yard. We're getting there slowly now. I think we're heading towards it. But so what we have in the shed: hand washing facilities, toilets. We're looking to put displays up so that we can show where people's food comes from, so we can show the farming side and then show how that has actually follows a track through to produce Arran food, really. We're looking to have a few livestock, some machinery. We'll have a small area for teas and coffees to start with, see how that goes, and a shop where we can sell our meat, where we can sell sort of local produce, where we can sell our Arran ice cream to all these children that have been starved when they were going round their farm tour. And t-shirts, Go Rural t-shirts, Bellevue t-shirts, all these kinds of things. And we're hoping to be able to put a small footpath round the side of the shed, up the back of the hill, just so that people can walk through the fields and, you know, just go at their own pace. So that's really where we're sort of aiming towards. So what we're really trying to create, the sort of bigger picture, we're looking to sell local produce. So we're keen to you know, be able to sell to our visitors the produce that we've produced and other people in the island have produced. And we also want to offer bespoke farm tours so that people can walk around the farm, see the animals, and then follow that through, see the meat being cooked, and actually taste the meat, so that it's a complete full-on visitor experience for them. And we have a couple of chefs that are quite keen to do that and will work with us to do that. I've mentioned the cafe and again the barbecue idea. I mean, we're doing that anyway. We've had inquiries for birthday parties, different things like that. So I think, you know, we're going to give that a try, maybe one night a month or one night a week, see how it goes, see if we can build that up, because obviously we're just extending what we're doing. We're quite keen to have a farmers market, so be able to invite other producers on the island in maybe one day a month, so that they can all sell their produce as well. And we're kind of trying to grow that. And what we have sort of identified from there is, you know, the visitors that are coming to the holiday cottages, you know, they're obviously part of this experience as well. So what I would like to do is to now provide a welcome pack to people coming to the holiday cottages of Arran produce. So that might be, you know, some of our lamb. They would have one of Alistair's bottles of milk, so that they can go down to the village and refill that milk, you know, throughout their visit. There'd be eggs, vegetables, cheese, you know, Arran oat cakes, that kind of thing. So that is really where we are aiming towards. So just to finish off by talking a wee bit about Scottish agritourism. So to me, I feel a wee bit like a sort of convert. Scottish agritourism to me was like the light in the sky. It has been wonderful, and it has really been such a massive support, and I feel so motivated by it because I've met so many amazing people. I went to a couple of the Monitor Farm meetings, and then Caroline asked me to do the Lamathon, and that was really the start of my involvement with it. And then at the start of, you know, lockdown, COVID, I started to sit in on the Monday morning Zooms, and it was a massive support. And Caroline and some of the other guys on there, they really sort of carried us and sort of mentored us through that. It was a struggle at that time. I struggled with funding, and, you know, Caroline basically saw me through to the end until we'd got our problem sorted. And so from the funding side of things, it proceeded to, you know, cleaning, COVID regulations, all these kind of things. So it was a great support to us. The agritourism has also got a direct line into government. So if we have any issues, we speak to Caroline, she goes to government and then gets feedback from there. So that is a very sort of logical process. So, I mean, Caroline has been a very strong leader in there. She's got a clear vision, amazing, positive, dynamic, can-do attitude. And I really, you know, when you're working with these kind of people, it gives you great drive, and it gives you, you know, much more confidence. There's also a great WhatsApp group. So the WhatsApp group pings away all the time, but you know, when you're in that group, the pings are worth reading. The people in the group are people very like myself. There's people that do less than I do, and there's people that are way much more advanced than I do. But if I've got a question about anything, in the past I would have sat there for a morning reading, trying to get to the bottom of something. I ping a question in that WhatsApp group and you get an answer. because there's somebody maybe going through the same thing, and they looked it up yesterday or spoke to somebody and they have an answer for you. We've also got, as Caroline said, the resource of Visit Scotland. Lorna Reid has been amazing. Lorna Reid is obviously from a farm. She knows the ropes, she knows the score, and she knows what she's dealing with. So she has been a massive support to us. And, you know, Caroline's also talked about the Go Rural website. So, you know, as a sort of agricultural destination, it is great to be part of that. And, you know, for people that want to have a holiday on a farm, buy farm produce, that is going to be the go-to place. So yeah, it's good to be part of that. So my final line, I know I've sort of raved about how good it all is, and you know, you could listen to me raving. I could rave quite happily forever. But you know, if you cut it down really to somebody from the outside looking in, you're really looking at the financial benefits of what, you know, what I have gained out of agritourism. So we paid a membership into Scottish Agritourism, and I can hand on heart say, well, I've put down there 10 times, I got 10 times back what I've put in. I would say it's way more than that. If I had to go and employ somebody to give me the help that I've got out of that, it would be way beyond that. So I'm just going to finish there. I mean, I'm more than happy to answer any questions, but that's me.
Thanks so much, Ailsa. Thanks for your kind words at the end there as well. So yeah, it's been a tough year for everybody, but I think the way everybody's come together just has made such a positive thing out of a difficult situation. So thanks very much for your insight to your business as well. You're so inspiring. There's so many things you're driving on with, and huge amount of economic impact there for Arran to benefit from what you're doing as well. So well done. Thank you very much. Do you mind stopping sharing your screen, and I'll just thanks.
Now, how do I do that?
Yeah, so if you just go to share screen and just or it just gives you an option to exit. Sorry, I can't see what you... Stop a minute. I'll stop your... It's not letting me do this. Right, that's you now. Okay, right. Thank you very much. Okay, thanks for that. So next up we have, we're over to Lanarkshire now for Selina, who is from Errington Cheese. So Selina, I made you a co-host, didn't I?
I think so, yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Selina. I'll share my screen. Hopefully you can see that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so quite hard to follow Ailsa's story. It was great hearing all about that. Everybody's farms are so different. So what we do, we moved to this farm in 1981, which is Wolstonbury Head. It's a 250 acre farm, you're bigger. We're 1,000 feet above sea level. So there's a kind of limit to what we can grow. So we mainly just concentrate on grass for our sheep. So my father sort of diversified into dairy sheep in the early 80s, and that's really been the core of our business. They're a Lacone breed, and we're milking just over 300 just now. So they get milked sort of twice a day, and all the milk gets made into cheese on the farm. And really our focus, you know, until a few years ago was just mainly on driving cheese sales. And you know, we were kind of selling about a ton of cheese a week from here, which was a mixture of cow's milk and sheep's milk. So I suppose I should probably just say Lanarkshire is kind of probably not thought of as a tourism destination, but there's huge opportunities here because we're, you know, our farm is sort of within 45 minutes of the centre of Glasgow and Edinburgh, and about an hour and a quarter from Carlisle. So the main traffic if people visiting Scotland comes through Lanarkshire, either towards Edinburgh or up towards Glasgow. So we really need to sort of focus on that and make sure people are stopping and using and seeing what we're doing here, because there's some amazing farms. So in a year and a half ago, in 2019, we introduced dairy goats to the farm. The sheep, we only milk from sort of January, February time till August, so we have kind of nothing to do in the cheese rooms. So when we stopped producing cow's milk cheese, the dairy goats have kind of sort of fitted in quite nicely and kept us going all year round. So they're obviously small ruminants as well, so they go through the same parlour. So they're fitting in quite well. And again, we have about 100 of them, and they're a mixture of Sannan, Toggenburg and Alpine. And you can see my daughter there and my husband Andrew, who does most of the farm side, and I do the cheese side of the business. So I suppose, well, here's a picture. I should just, so all the cheese is obviously made here on the farm. We make a variety of different cheeses. Originally, we sort of concentrated on blue cheese, and over the last 10 years, we've made more and more Corlin, which is a hard sheep's cheese, which is it fills the gap in the summertime when we've got loads of sheep's milk. And it won Best Scottish Cheese in the World Cheese Awards in 2019-20. And then the goat's cheeses are the ones in the middle here, so they're kind of lactic style, so they're a bit quicker to mature than the Corlin. So what we're doing now in our sort of place we are, so agritourism, I suppose when we had all our problems back in sort of from 2016 to 2018, our market changed considerably. We supply mostly to wholesalers and most of it in England, but it's kind of forced us out into, you know, looking at different opportunities and ways of selling. So we do Edinburgh Farmers Market. You can come to the farm now and sort of see a self-guided tour through the window here, and you can hopefully, if it's the right time of day, see the cheese getting made. And the farm tours, I'm kind of ready to start that, but I've kind of put it a bit on hold because of COVID. But and then with COVID, we've obviously developed our online website, so people can come and click and collect and buy cheese, and we can sell it out all over the place. Where we're going, hopefully, is I'd hope you can make this out. So this is our existing animal housing buildings here, and this is going to be a new sort of cafe restaurant and a farm shop just here. So people will be able to come and see the cheese getting made, see the goats and sheep, and have a bite to eat and buy some cheese, hopefully. And we've also got some planning permission in for some holiday lodges, which are just along here. So that's all very excited, and it's making me feel really nervous. But I think sort of going on to the next slide, being a part of the agritourism group, it's sort of allowed me, and I think one of the best monitor farm meetings was before COVID actually, was the storytelling one, because it really made you think about your farm and what you have that's special and how you can make the most of it. But there's been lots of different meetings that have been had, and it's helped me just develop ideas and sort of hone in on my plans about, you know, for the future development. I mean, I think Ailsa's kind of covered quite well the networking and support in the community, you know, especially being a cheesemaker and milking dairy sheep and goats, you know, you're quite isolated because nobody else is doing that. So it's nice having other people that are doing different things. And, you know, as Ailsa said, you know, the WhatsApp group's great if you want to ask a quick question, and everybody's really supportive. And I do believe, you know, we're stronger doing all this together. You know, we can make more of an impact on the area and agritourism and everything else by sort of sticking together and promoting each other's businesses. And you know, through the Scottish Tourism Alliance, we get great updates and that kind of thing as well, which is really useful. And we're excited about the new website that's coming to promote our business. So that's, I've probably raced through it a bit quick. So I think
oh, sorry. Are you sorry, Selina?
No, well, it was just my last bit. Really, it was just to sort of highlight the, you know, we are a really great location, Lanarkshire. You know, and we just need to sort of work on it all together to kind of highlight. Because I keep finding new businesses, you know, agritourism businesses that I didn't know about. So it's just finding out about each other and sort of promoting about what Lanarkshire has to offer. You know, because we do have probably the biggest pool of population that can potentially come and visit us for days out. But yeah, that was really it, Caroline. And then I've just put a wee, if anybody wants to join, there's a link there on the Scottish Tourism Alliance website if you want to have a look, at my contact details there if anybody's got any questions.
Thanks so much, Selina. And yeah, I think, you know, like what you've got there, like with a product that people can actually, I mean, I don't know MD doesn't love cheese. So I think, you know, that as a basis for an agritourism experience is absolutely phenomenal. And some of the best agritourism experiences I've had in the world have been on cheese farms. I mean, the best farm tour I've ever been on is a farm in South Tuscany in Italy, and absolutely phenomenal. But their tour of their dairy goats and their dairy sheep, and then their cheese tasting and their 4-hour lunch with, I think maybe it's 4 hours lunch with wine is what maybe swung it for me. But yeah, there's huge opportunity for what you're doing and the way you want to develop your business as well. So a great asset for Lanarkshire, and I know you're keen to have more people in Lanarkshire you know, come get involved in agritourism as well. So thanks very much. So now we'll hand over to Jo McNicol. So Jo is a guest speaker from out with the area today. I've mentioned Jo already, but Jo and her husband Stuart farm right on the coast, right overlooking the sea on the east coast, on the opposite side from where you are, but at their farm, Castleton Farm, just at North Berwick. And they have a fantastic cafe there that they've created and developed, and it has just taken off in the last just over 2 years. So I'll just hand over to Jo.
Caroline, can you?
Oh, sorry. Make you a co-host. Give me 2 seconds. Can't wait to actually meet in person. Won't have to make people co-hosts, or there might be a round of applause, or.
There we go.
Thanks, Jo.
So hello everyone. Yeah, my name's Jo McNicol. Actually, it was great listening to Ailsa because we see each other in all these meetings, but to actually run through everything that Ailsa's doing. I've worked with Selina recently on a rural leadership project, and so I know a little bit more, but that was fantastic, Ailsa. It's so exciting to see all your plans. So yeah, as Caroline said, she's kind of run through the first few of my slides already, which is quite convenient, but I'm Jo McNicol, my husband and I, Stuart, oh, beg your pardon, why is it not coming forwards? There we go. We farm just outside North Berwick in East Lothian. We are a 430 acre arable farm largely, and we are surrounded by the 3 iconic images of East Lothian, being the Bass Rock, Tintallon Castle and North Berwick Law. A little bit about me. Although I'm from a farming background, I actually went into teaching and then came out of that in 2012, partly because we adopted 2 children, and they needed my time. But it also gave me an opportunity to really get involved with the farm, which I always wanted to do. And I always said that if teaching wasn't right for me, then I would get out of it and do something else. And the opportunity presented itself. A year after that, I began an events business as a sole trader. It was something that Stuart and I had discussed for years prior to doing it, and he eventually managed to sow all the grass seed and said, right, that's it, we're running an events business. We had our first event in 2012, and the idea was that we would let it loose to whoever wanted to hire it, and they could do whatever they wanted, and that would be okay. However, the very first event carried on till 6 o'clock in the morning, and my in-laws ended up with ear defenders in order to be able to sleep over the bass music that was going on in the background. And so we decided after that, no more. And I took it over as a very, very small business. And then in 2018, we opened Drift, and I became a co-director along with Stuart of Drift Coffeehouse. Stuart continues to farm the farm, and I tend to lead and manage both the event site and the and Drift as an agritourism business. So a bit about the farm, because as Caroline mentioned right back at the beginning, you know, you're not an agritourism business unless there is a sort of a running farm or croft or estate in the background. Stuart's grandfather leased the farm in 1908, and as you can see, we're heading for 100th birthday this year, because he eventually bought the farm in 1921. Stuart's father took over the farm in the 70s and began to change a few things. He brought on chickens to the farm until the salmonella outbreaks, and that stopped that. And Stuart now manages the day-to-day running of it. And he is really looking to the future along with me beside him. We have ongoing succession discussions. I think a lot of farmers do. But we're getting there, partly with the help of the Monitor Farm programme that we have been part of, which has been so successful for us, and I know many others within the group. So as I said, we're an arable farm. We grow winter wheat, spring barley and winter beans. And Stuart is also part of the agri-environmental scheme, claiming that one of his fields for that scheme earned him more money than a field of wheat or barley last year. But it's a great project to be part of as well, and combined with our agritourism, the two are working quite nicely hand in hand. Some days can be an all family affair. It looks like my son Tommy there is solely laying EcoGrid down in our entrance to Drift. That was not the case. There were other adults involved, but the kids do love to get involved, and I think that is a really nice thing about farming in general. That's my daughter there carrying a tray of sunflowers, which we planted last year, and I think this year we might try and do the same again, but perhaps a sunflower maze for visitors to Drift to come around and then potentially pick their own sunflowers at the end. So agritourism for us actually started in around about the 1980s when my mother-in-law took over a few of the farm cottages and decided to renovate them and let them out as holiday lets. It was a very successful business for her. And as such, Stuart and I also refurbished one of the cottages. We would have been back in about 2007, 2008, and ran it as a holiday cottage for a short period of time. As I said, I started Castleton Events in 2013. We have a greenfield site. You can see with the pictures there, we've got Tintagel Castle in the background, and we look out onto the Bass Rock. It's a stunning setting, if not a little bit windy at times, but it is absolutely beautiful. And we really felt we needed to maximise out on those views. We opened the Drift doors in 2018. Now, Drift, I would say, was the fourth project, with only one other reaching planning stage. We were desperate to be able to branch out into the food and drink sector. And so we started with a massive farm shop development, but we realised it was just too big. But not only that, as a cereals farm, running a farm shop was quite tricky, especially when all the cereals go for making into beer, whiskey, vodka or gin. And so we felt really our farm shop would be more of an off licence rather than an actual farm shop. So we had another couple of ideas, but again, they were all too big. And what we actually really realised was that we needed to go much smaller. And so Drift was born. It seats on average about 40 covers. Pre-COVID, we've had to reduce by half at the moment. Well, we're obviously not open inside at the moment, but about 40 covers. And in our first year, we welcomed about 80,000 visitors. So you might say, well, I thought you were going for a smaller project and you've taken on 80,000 visitors. It was huge. It just took off. The destination, you see, we're only 2 miles out of North Berwick, we're 35 miles out of Edinburgh. A lot of our visitors come from Edinburgh, but our main aim was to create a destination, and we've definitely created that, with lots of people coming from Stirling, Glasgow, down to Northumberland. We've got lots of people talking about it on the tube in London, apparently. One lady even from Oslo said, yes, I read it in a magazine in Oslo, and so I had to come over and have a look at it. As a result of the Monitor Farm and getting together post-lockdown and showing everyone around our farm, we've also now got followers as far as Canada, New Zealand, America, and they're regularly engaging in a lot of our social media posts, which is lovely. So by starting off small, we did start with coffee and cake. It became a bit much when I was baking. I was personally baking 200 slices of cake a day in a tiny 10-foot kitchen and thinking, help me, Bob, where am I actually going to place all these slices of cake? But it was working, with a lot of people wanting us to expand very quickly. So we did, and we expanded into soup. Following soup came brunch and a very small light lunch offering. At the end of the last lockdown, we also introduced our Drift Away trailer. There's a very small picture of it in the bottom right-hand corner. That has been our lifesaver, without a shadow of a doubt. It sits right out in front of the building. We're not planning on moving it anywhere because it really does capture all those people, all those customers that want a very, very quick bite to eat. We've changed a lot of our menu as a result so that it is quick takeaway offerings. So we've gone from full-on brunch to sausage rolls, bridies, cupcakes instead of cakes, anything to make life easier for the customer. Caroline kicked my bottom hard at the end of our first year in the Monitor Farm, and I have a phrase that Caroline uses quite a lot, which is, I'm not being funny, but what are you doing not getting a manager in yet? Joe, you still got a head in an oven making bacon rolls. You cannot see that bigger picture. So I realised I couldn't afford not to employ the manager. So I did. And as a result, now we not only have a manager, but I have a supervisor, I have a trainee supervisor, and together with Stuart and I, we've got a really quite good management team. And that has really allowed me to focus on the bigger picture, the broader picture. And as a result of that, we've also now got plans for a new event space. So we're taking our Greenfield site, hopefully, into a space for up to 120 people with, again, brilliant infinity view to the castle, the Bass Rock, but allowing that opportunity for customers to have a space indoors, which is what we were finding a lot of people wanted. So why join agritourism? Well, I mean, first off, becoming a monitor farmer, the East Central monitor farmer, for us, it's opened doors, loads of doors, not only to the group, but to people like Lorna in Visit Scotland. It's one of those things, I was always on the edge with that and never quite knowing who to contact, but being part of this fabulous sector has really allowed me, to give me the confidence to be able to make those contacts, get involved with those people so that they can help you with your business. And as a result of that, I know that post-lockdown, we will have somebody coming to us at Drift to hopefully taste our new menu and offer us a taste rating. Direct routes to government, I don't think that's been covered much by Ailsa or Selina, but for me, I've been involved in several calls with Fergus Ewing and asked several questions, and having that opportunity to have direct routes to government, I think is crucial. We need to make our voice heard, and there's no better way in having that direct route to government to ask the questions, put questions to, well, it's Fergus Ewing at the moment, and get those answers in return. So absolutely vital to this. The new website is looking great. It's going to be really exciting. It's a huge undertaking that Caroline's doing, but will be of massive benefit to this sector. I've absolutely no doubt in that. And forging those links, creating ties between our businesses, helping us to grow our businesses into something that perhaps, you know, we couldn't quite achieve if we were just doing it on our own. And finally, as Ailsa and Selina have mentioned, the support from others in this group is fabulous. I think I put a message out asking for any beef, pork, sheep, lamb farmers who would like to supply Drift with meat as we embark on a brand new inside menu. And I got multiple responses very, very quickly. And as such, it's great because I can now bring a story to Drift that I perhaps wouldn't have had I not been part of this group. So if anything's taken away from today, those would be my 4 top reasons to join. And that's basically me. I put a few details down there at the bottom. If anyone wanted to get in contact or ask any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks so much, Jo. And I think your business is so inspiring I know despite COVID, the growth that you've had in your business, you know, is just phenomenal. I think over 20 staff. Yep. In a 2-year period in an agritourism business, and you know, the level of turnover you're having, and I know you're working really hard just now to you know, with COVID, you just turned it on its head and were really innovative, got your takeaway going, your outside truck, your barbecue side of things. You know, you've just absolutely grasped every opportunity in a difficult time. So I know yeah, where you're going to kind of fly as soon as we can get open again. So, okay, so we're just going to take 5 minutes of questions, and then I'm going to finish off with Lorna Reid from Visit Scotland. So, I'll just check I think there's been lots of positive comments about people, lots of always positive comments about cheese as well. So, Sarah, I'll just start with you. So nice to see you. Do you want to come in and talk, Sarah? I know you have trouble with internet, so maybe I could read your Sarah Redmond, or maybe I can ask on your behalf, Sarah, if you're not. So yeah, I know you've got a great shepherd's hut, Sarah. I struggle to see where I can fit into the agritourism market. Oh, sorry, I can't talk because I'm at work listening in. Sorry. Right, okay. So I'm not telling your employer. Right, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Oh God, that was to private as well. I've now just read that out. Sorry, right, we'll just not remember that bit of the meeting. Oh my goodness. Right, hold it together, Caroline. You've only got 10 minutes left. Right, okay, I struggle to see where I can fit into the agritourism market. Apart from a shepherd's hut on a farm, I need help to see the potential we have for the impact on an everyday farming enterprise. So, well, first of all, say that I think you're already in the agritourism market by having your shepherd's hut on your farm, and I know the fantastic things that you're doing to develop the business. You know, your wild water swimming and all those sort of things. And I think, you know, people are just looking for the things that we take for granted as farmers are the things that they're wanting to buy. So that fresh air, the freedom, the green space, the views, that's all a saleable thing. It's just that we're so used to seeing that every day that we don't actually put a value on it, or we don't put a value on it enough. So you know, that's a big thing, that it's really difficult as farmers to see things that people just come and say absolutely wow, and people will pay for these things. And that's a big thing we're trying to do together as well, to try and make sure that, you know, when we're pricing for a farm tour, for example, that it reflects what people are willing to pay, not what we value ourselves at. Alistair, do you want to come in on this, just in terms of like the consumer and what the...
Well, thanks, Caroline. I don't know if I'm best placed, but I do know that the existing tourism base that come to this area are desperately keen to get a hold of these authentic things that we take for granted, absolutely take for granted. And the new emerging markets of explorers that want to come into the countryside and rural areas want to engage with that, these products that we are, experiences that we take for granted. So isn't that brilliant? We've just got to make sure we position them in the right way, make them easily booked, make them easily understood, and probably work with your neighbours, which is always difficult for farmers. I was on a farming thing last night, or a couple of nights ago, about collaborating, and it was terrible when one farmer said the only way to get two farmers to collaborate is to shoot one of them. So so I think maybe the best thing to do is we try and find best ways to collaborate, to build product around what we're all doing, because I think yeah, open water swimming, brilliant. Just there's so many different things that are out there. So that would be my take, is that we don't even know what we're sitting on. So have a good look around and use all the assets to your advantage.
Yeah, I think one of the things that came out of some of the other meetings I was on yesterday was just, you know, that the good thing about agritourism is we're all offering a completely different thing. So it's a completely different, you know, so what I offer here, not just because it's not just the accommodation or whatever that's the differentiator, it's your landscape, it's your personality, it's the food you produce on the farm, it's the type of farm. So, you know, we're all very different. So then there's multiple things that a consumer can go and do. They can come and visit or buy from a variety of different agritourism businesses. But we're not offering a sort of corporate sameness. We're so authentic, and that provenance is there, but we're so authentic. So there's such a different, you know, you could have a week's holiday on Arran, visiting different farms, and have a completely different thing every day. You're not fed up going to the same thing. So,
and
is there a question for any? Sorry,
Caroline, you could also link it together by turning it into walking between the farms or different things, and you could be, you know, there's just so many ways you could do it to link in with emerging trends. So, you know, everybody loves that. You mentioned it yourself, late nights, starting to get out there and walking, and you could just be telling stories along the way and upselling the next agritourism opportunity, you know, that you're coming to.
Yeah, so before I bring Lorna in, so we've got a few people here as well involved in the sort of promotion of, you know, the food tourism side of things, and agritourism very much sits within that. But Howard, I'll bring you in. I mean, how can you see all this kind of working to the advantage of what you're doing in Ayrshire? And
yeah, thank you for inviting me to just make a comment. All the things that have been said indicate the opportunity that there is, and amongst our members, and I'm aware that Jean is on the call, we think of our 40 members, 17 of them most probably would fall into your category of agritourism. In other words, they're farm-based and they would meet your criteria as I understand them. One of the things I would say is that presumably you found in the last year and a half, because of the COVID regulations, if one of your comments is activities on the farm, one of the things that I've found is that there's a lot of things happening from the farm. In other words, people are proactively involving us as consumers by sharing stories with us, sharing what's happening, what the day-to-day activity is, what videos there are. And of our group, there are at least 10 of our group who are very, very, very frequently using videos which they're sending out to people. Now, they may not be formally part of your group, but I think they're inspired by what you and others have really achieved. And it's really a sort of cohort who are helping us as, I don't like the word consumers, I like the word prosumers. In other words, people who are proactively thinking about where their food is coming from. But I think the use of videos to actually reach out when you can't, in fact, invite people onto your farms may be a very, very good way of businesses in the farming community who are interested in food to share their offering and their experience and the excitement with people who are based in urban areas.
Yeah, thanks, Howard. I mean, the 550 people that took part in the survey at the end of the 12-week live tours, we said, what is it you're going to do as a result of watching these live tours? And there was three things: was buy from a farmer's market, visit a farm shop, and they wanted to go and visit a farm and eat from a farm cafe or restaurant. All those three things are to do with food. It was, maybe it's just because everybody loves food, and especially during COVID. So, but, I think that the call to action around, that connection, even, I mean, we weren't during Lambathon with little baby lambs sort of doing we weren't tagging a Scotch lamb recipe in a casserole onto the end of the video, but I mean, people were still making that connection between, us looking after the animals, showing that we were nice. Folk were saying, you look like nice people, so people were like, right, we trust you. So we trust you, you're going to do a good job rearing this animal, you're looking after it. And then they were still managing to make the connection about wanting to buy. So that really surprised us, so I think there is huge opportunity. But I'm now going to hand over to Lorna, and as I say, if anybody wants to hang back at the end, they're very welcome to. But I'm just going to bring up your slides, Lorna, so I'll just be a second.
Yes, thanks. I will try to zoom through this very quickly, everybody, because I realise that we are running out of time very, very quickly. I like to describe myself actually as Visit Scotland sheepdog, because I'm working across a sort of cross team, many teams with different skill sets. And if I can just sum up very quickly the bigger picture, really, my job without agritourism is an East Regional Content Manager. So I'm used to dealing with a variety of sort of stakeholders, looking at destination experience and really telling stories. And I think I could actually almost pick out a word from everybody's presentation today that probably sums up everything. Alistair, spot on, storytelling, because at the end of the day, that's it. That's what we're all trying to do. Destination experience. Caroline mentioned collaboration, adding value to existing assets and thinking about a customer journey. And I think everybody's sort of touched upon that. From a Visit Scotland point of view, we are here to make sure that Scotland and Scottish agritourism is discoverable in across channels for visitors. Now, that doesn't just need to be a UK visitor, it's also international visitors as well, in the channels that they're consuming. And I think somebody mentioned videos there. We also saw from the Welcome to Farms videos that Caroline ran over the summer that viewers were tuning in from Dubai, Poland, India, Italy. It was absolutely amazing. And it was repeat repeat viewers as well. It wasn't just one-off, and I think that really shows something about the interest that is out there. I will touch very, very quickly about trends. I'm here with kind of a marketing hat on, but across Visit Scotland, we have quite a few different people involved trying to support the sector. So from a marketing side of view, we're trying to make sure that we're getting your stories and your destination stories across to visitors that are thinking about coming to Scotland, whether that's on social media, in our e-zines, or in some of our content. But with the other side of the picture, we've also got a team on the ground that are there to help you try to develop your business. And that's working with some of the other agencies that we've got on the call today. So that route to market is really important. So is the product development, responsible tourism, we've mentioned that as well. We do have industry relationship managers in your area, and I think it's Kyle Lockhart that would be happy to discuss any Visit Scotland listings or any advice or help that you need, whether that's for a Visit Scotland listing or if you're looking at being a supplier to group travel on the sort of dedicated travel trade website. We'd be more than happy to help, and I'll put an email address in the chat box. Caroline, could we just go on to the next slide? Sometimes a picture speaks 1,000 words. So this is some content that we've developed on our blog, which again is sharing your agritourism stories and your experiences. I think it's key to mention that in terms of trend, well-being, connection to outdoor, a responsible sort of tourism, knowing where your foods come, because I think it's really important, that message about Scottish food and drink. And as Caroline mentioned, yes, there's a cute lamb with Lambathon, and there's also the other end of it that sometimes maybe we haven't told the story very well about, maybe Scotch lambs, Scotch beef, but it's almost like drip feeding it. We're just all attacking it at different angles. So sort of synergy of some of the parts there. Could we move on just one more? The other value that we've had with great success with Lambathon, which we are looking to repeat this year, is support across our social media channels, and that has certainly helped sort of reach and extend the reach of individuals' own pages, Facebook, Instagram stories. We've also picked up some of the members in the agritourism group have been involved with GoPros and Highland cows, which went viral in the USA and actually got picked up by the Lonely Planet. We're actually repeating that again with footage, hopefully for the Easter and around Scotland Week. So again, it's just sharing that everybody loves a Highland cow, because aside from cute lambs, Highland cow posts in Visit Scotland are actually one of the best performing posts. So it's just using all that knowledge to our base to cut through and get the Scottish agritourism message heard. Sorry, Caroline, could we nip on to the next slide? Again, PR, we've had Caroline's had some great PR already that she secured with Farmers Weekly. If that's out tomorrow in print, have a look. Some stories there with Shona Duncan and, was it Kay, no, it's Alison Younger from Old Lecky Farms. Again, we're hoping to repeat that with some exciting TV, hopefully, but we can't say anything just yet, but watch this space. Caroline, are you okay to go on? And again, we've got our e-zine coverage as well. So again, this is really important. Although people can't visit just now, the importance of virtual and sharing videos in almost the last year has been so important. So we've had great success sending out last year details about Lambathon, and we will be doing that again this year. And as you can see, it was right across all our Visit Scotland UK and longer haul audiences. And I think, Caroline, that is me. Sorry, that was really rushed through. I'm happy to take any questions.
Has anyone got any questions for Lorna? If not today, you're very welcome to get in touch with Lorna direct if you want to follow up on anything. So So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close the kind of formal part of the meeting. As I say, if anybody wants to hang back and speak to myself or anybody, I don't know if other speakers can hang back for 10 minutes or maybe you've all got to go. I realise we're all zoomed out here. Really can't wait to see everybody in person. We're having a big agritourism conference in November. Definitely hope that can go ahead. But I think we're going to at least make it a 2-day event, probably 2 days and 2 nights, just to catch up for everybody's. It just mentioned the night thing. There's a whole load of folk looking more interested now. So, yeah, I think we'll definitely do day 1. We'll probably go and visit some of the businesses involved with the monitor farm, and then have a dinner that night, and then do day 2, and then a big dinner and a ceilidh that night, and definitely nothing to do with work the next day. Is what we're planning just now to bring everybody together. So. But as I say, today's just the starting point. I hope that we can maybe have a follow-up conversation either with smaller groups, just to try and get to the bottom of kind of what the flavour is for your own particular areas. We will be writing some initial content for the new website about Scottish destinations as a whole, but there will be individual pages after that on each region in Scotland. So we'd like to create content either that you've got already or in conjunction with you, and any new blogs or whatever that we can do, joining up businesses and developing trails and things that we can kind of both share. I think that would be really useful together too. So thanks very much to all our speakers today. Thanks to Alistair, who is a great support of what we're trying to do here, but also to Ailsa, to Selina and to Joe, and to Lorna. It's been great seeing all of you here and having all of you on, and I really appreciate the industry kind of officials and economic development people as well, who really are going to help try and make all this happen too. So huge opportunity for agritourism. We can really grow this by millions of pounds. So let's get behind it, and lovely to see you all, and just get in touch anytime. It'd be great to have a further discussion with you. Thanks very much.